For me, I can handle it. I totally attribute my career to social media.
Please welcome Chance the Rapper!
I think that social media has more power than the money they spent, and I think maybe to a certain extent I proved that.
It works!
It's kind of like a wide range of different things. Like when I think of an influencer, there could be, CEOs of companies. There can be artists, even painters. Andy Warhol, he's technically an influencer because people look up to his work as a painting. There's singers like myself.
Being an influencer is all about having a trusted relationship with your audience. I don't think you can be an influencer without an audience. But in the other hand, if you have a message to dialogue, you will naturally create your audience and they will trust on you, and you have to work every day to keep growing your audience with trust. So I think for me it's all about trust in that relationship.
An influencer is someone who reaches out to people from various parts of the world and in various communities. And It's really someone who brings out a part of themselves to the world, and then people kind of see from it at that perspective. And influence kind of, in a sense, shape the world a little bit as years go on, because it's someone that you can go onto social media and they'll pop up, and then if you think, oh, maybe this person likes something, or maybe I'll go try that. So it's a different output that you see on the world from various people all over, and it's kind of a way from people from all over the world can come and kind of be in contact with each other in a different way.
Missed my cat so much when I was at work every single day, so I take little videos and photos just kind of to cheer me up, and so I put them all on Instagram, so there was one place where I could look at all the best of them.
And we noticed it started cheering other people up too. They'd message us and say, oh, we love seeing your photos, we love seeing your videos, they make me smile during the day, and when I'm stressed out I look at them. So we realized, I think we were touching a nerve apparently.
I think I uploaded my first video to YouTube in about 2011. At that point, I was actually only using it kind of like a scrapbook. I wasn't actually thinking constructively how I was going to shape my career around using it. So yeah, I used to grab my musical instruments and I would sit on the streets of London. I would normally go to high populated tourist areas because tourists tend to be a bit more relaxed than people who are going to and from the office, And I would sit amongst these crowds and I would play music. And yeah, a few of them, as the mobile devices became better and the Nokias went on to being other phones with cameras, they ended up sort of filming me while I was playing music. These videos were uploaded onto YouTube, and at one point I realized one of these videos had 2.5 million views to it. It didn't have my name in the title. So at that point I thought it was kind of a good idea to start constructing my own channel.
When I was in college, I was playing around with my hair a lot, and I would go on YouTube to see tutorials on how to do things, and I thought that it was pretty cool that people were sharing their hair journeys on YouTube, so I started doing the same thing, and slowly but surely I got a following, and then I realized I could make money off of this, and then that's when things just skyrocketed and companies started reaching out to me, and then I realized I can probably do this full time.
What really got me into social media, it was like my first photo shoot. So I actually got scouted to be on America's Next Top Model, and I never thought in a million years I thought I'd be a model. I was always a singer and an actor, and modeling never crossed my mind. And it's really grown on me a lot. I'm signed with pretty big agencies now, and I've really developed myself as a model. And it's kind of been my branding, and I'm trying to transition it more toward the music side of it, because I'm named after Miles Davis. I'm a huge jazz fan, and I sing very Michael Bublé, Frank Sinatra type music.
Ever since I was like 3 years old, I always wanted to be an actress. So that has always been my main focal point ever since I was little. And then I started getting into the business a little bit a couple years ago, and I did New York Film Academy, which is where I really discovered my love for the art of acting. And then I also got into singing, and with that came modeling as well. So I kind of threw myself into the industry, and along with all of that comes social media. So when I first started social media, I started uploading pictures from my photo shoots, and then I started gaining a following, and I had never thought that people wanted to see just my everyday life, but they kept asking for it. So then I started vlogging, and I started sharing like my everyday experiences. Like if I go to the gym, I'll upload some videos of it. And then I decided, oh hey, maybe I could upload some of my monologues on here as well. So that's what I started doing too. And then little bits of me singing. So I really found social media to be a platform for where I can share my love and appreciation for the performing arts with a bunch of other people who have the similar interests.
Yeah.
I started on social media posting my photo shoots, as I've been modeling since I was a kid. And then my audience was growing, and I felt like the necessity to dialogue with my audience, to communicate with them. And that's how I turned into an influencer, because I found that necessity to really talk with those people. Before was just about to have an audience and posting pictures, but I was not actually creating an impact in their lives. I just had all these followers, but do I really influence their lives? Do I really share something that can impact their lifestyle or change something? And then I was like studying and create just communication every day, talking to them, more like friendly and more close to my audience, and that's how my following just exploded. Once I started to really communicate with them. And now I can recognize myself as an influencer, because you have this trust, we have a relationship with each other.
With your audience and everything.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's huge. Yeah, it
it
really
is.
is. Like actually responding to your audience is like a big deal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've noticed a huge difference, because it's like you can be that person that has a following and never respond to anyone. But how do you really know what your audience wants?
Well, I remember I started my YouTube channel when I was about 13 or 14 years old. And I just started by putting up videos of me playing songs, and then I realized I had some guitar pedals and people were asking me how they sounded, so I would just make video demos. And I also saw a lot of YouTubers who were doing gear reviews, and they inspired me to keep playing guitar and to get better and better, so I wanted to get into that world. And then from there, I started playing in bands in New York City, and needing more gear, I would reach out to some of these companies and ask for maybe a pedal or a discount on a guitar or something like that in exchange for me making a video on my channel, or even just using it live and taking a photo of my pedal board. And it kind of just went from there and just kept growing. I didn't ever expect 1 million views, and I think I could get more views, and I should be working a little more on my YouTube channel for some people who follow me, and I really appreciate everyone who watches all the videos. But it's also hard, just being a college student as well. I go to NYU, the Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music, as well as trying to also just actually write music and pursue a professional career as well. Though I guess the YouTube stuff is part of the professional career too now, so it's a lot to juggle right now.
I started on YouTube about 2.5 years ago, and it was an interesting transition. I started on Instagram just for fun. It was a good time, I was able to post pictures with my friends, but did I really see it as a social media platform or a way of the future? No. I really started using it just to edit my photos. I didn't know what it was. I was in 8th grade when it started, and it wasn't really this big boom until about my sophomore year, 3 years ago. In that time frame, I was trying to be a model. That was my goal. That's what I wanted to do. That was my future, really. So when that didn't work out, I didn't know what I was gonna do. But after modeling a little bit and gaining a little bit of a following, about 4,000 followers on the platform, I realized I might actually have something here. My interest in social media really started after I followed one kid on Instagram. He was a good-looking kid, 15 years old, he had about 3,000 followers. Well, since that time I started following him. I saw him go from 3,000 followers to 300,000 followers in the span of 6 months, and I realized, hey, social media's got something going here. And since I saw that, I knew I wanted to be in this space. I saw he was getting paid because he was doing #ad, or I could see that there was just products within his pages. So I knew he was getting some sort of income. After doing a lot of research and figuring out what he was doing, who he was, and who he was working with, I ended up finding his manager. And that's how I really started. I was able to reach out to his manager. His manager took me under his wing. He said, basically, start a YouTube channel and let's see where it goes. After doing that, 2 years down the road, I've made it to about 60,000 followers on YouTube, about 80,000 followers on Instagram, and about 6,000 followers on Twitter, plus an additional following on Snapchat.
I've been an actor going on 10 years now, and actually in my past life, I came into acting later in life. So in my past life, I actually started in the music business. This was around the 90s. I was a rapper, I was a writer, and back then social media was a very different thing than it is now.
Probably another one of these poor fuckers with PTSD, wanting penance for Iraq. Or he's been sniffing bath salts all night. Look at his hands.
So as far as social media, it's very interesting. I mean, obviously it's changed the numerous opportunities that are available to anyone who has a product, a service, a project, or an idea that they want to put out there. You can now do things much more cost effectively. You don't need tons of money. You just need a good idea or a good offering.
Being an influencer used to be an exclusive club reserved for A-list movie actors and sports stars and business icons. Now, those guys will always have that special aura, of course, but the doors to celebrity, they've swung way open for those individuals who are fearless enough and gritty enough to earn the title. So how do we know you're an influencer? Because you have our attention. As an influencer, you're in the attention-getting business. This is where your value online lies and how you're measured. Attention is the currency of social media. Advertisers, people selling things, pay you for the attention you've earned. They want to be where their customers are looking. And so if they're looking at you, it's worth paying you to associate with them. And of course, you can use that same attention to promote and sell your own stuff. That's the influencer economy.
Well, influencers are playing a huge role in marketing today. And what most marketers have to do is hijack the audiences of those influencers. And the best way to do that is to convince the influencers they've got the greatest product. You know, I'm an influencer like everyone is. Now, just the degrees of how many zeros you have behind those numbers, meaning how big of an influencer are you? Some of us have 600,000 followers, some have 6,000, some have 600. But all of those people are influencers, and we're all influenced by other people.
You know, social media comes down to one thing, having an audience. And having an audience is really a privilege, it's not a right. I tend to teach clients, or when I give talks about this, I try to explain that having an audience is a privilege, not a right, exactly the same way wearing spandex is. Right? There are very few people in the world who have the right to wear spandex. If I train for a triathlon or for a marathon, I've earned the privilege of wearing spandex the day of the race. Right? It's the same thing with an audience. No one's born with the right to have an audience. You're born with the privilege of creating good content, of creating stuff that people want to read and want to share. If you do that, if you rise to that challenge and you accept that privilege, you're given an audience for the amount of time you have that content. But if you don't continue to create good content or continue to create things that are shareable, that audience goes away. So you don't simply get an audience to share on social media. You have to earn that every single day.
I've noticed a huge difference, because it's like you can be that person that has a following and never respond to anyone. But how do you really know what your audience wants?
That's the point of being an influencer, because on Tuesdays I think everyone can have 200,000 followers on only posting like the beautiful body, six packs, or whatever on the internet. But it doesn't mean you have all these followers and all this audience that they trust on you. If they don't trust you, you are not an influencer.
Exactly. I think communicating with your audience is a huge, huge part of it. And you also kind of get it back because they start commenting and supporting you, and they are really through you.
They're almost like your family at the same time.
They're with you through this huge journey.
Right. I mean, like, you guys probably travel as much as I do. I'm like on the airplane every 2-3 weeks, right?
Yeah, me too.
And you know, they always are there. They talk to you.
Definitely.
They're on that journey with you, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me, and that's a big overarching theme of this film, is that the power that you all have, right? Because these aren't just, it's not just an ad that you're reading on a plane. You could turn on your Facebook and all of a sudden you have 50,000 people, have a great flight, you know, get orange juice, whatever the case may be.
That actually was my flight here too. It was the same thing.
It's fascinating.
I was on YouTube for many years before I had an actual following. And then when I was a freshman in college, I posted a Nicki Minaj makeup tutorial because people would comment on every video saying I look like Nicki Minaj, like all the time. So I was like, I'm just gonna do this, get it over with. I know I'm Nicki Minaj. So I put that out there, and that was my first like viral video. So I gained a lot of subscribers from that. And that was really exciting for me since I didn't really have like a huge following at that point. And since then, I've had one more viral video that also just boosted my channel. So those two were unexpected. And online, you You usually grow pretty steadily unless you have a big video like that, so I definitely wasn't expecting that, but it was awesome, obviously. Even though I get a lot of comments on each video, I answer every single comment, which takes hours, but people love it, and they get really excited when I answer, and I also answer every Instagram comment, every tweet, and it's just a really good back and forth. So we have conversations, we'll talk about completely unrelated things. Some people ask me for advice, and it's just a really good community.
Our community is although there are a number of famous cats, it's definitely a small knit and close community. When we went to CatCon this year, we actually went to a CatCon, an Instagram cat meetup. And I saw friends from New Orleans, from New York,
people from Sweden, all over the world.
People that we talk to basically on a daily basis, just because we're fans of each other's cats. As I said, it's not just a business. It's something that we all love and we share a mutual interest in. So it's great that we can reach out and make friends all over the world. We actually had, as Bo said, friends from Sweden come over and play with our girls, and we went when they were in town and visited them with their cats. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's a community. It's the people. We like the other cat account people, and we like having friendships with them. We love talking to the people that follow our page, and like I said, seeing the positive messages of "I love your cats," they always make us smile, and that's the thing that keeps us going, really.
Interaction with clients on social is so fun because a lot of times I grow with my clients. I'll start with an engagement shoot, and then I'll do the bridal trial, then I'll do the bridal shower, then I'll do the wedding, I do the maternity shoot. So it's fun to keep that relationship and see what they're up to, and I love seeing my work posted when I'm done and they're dressed with the hair done and everything. And with people I don't know, I've actually heard from my DM that some people have been following me for years, since MySpace days, and some people are just message me and they're like, I've been following you and you're an inspiration, and I love to see which makeup look you're going to do today. And I've actually met with some people that followed me, which is really exciting because, you kind of get a feel for people's personalities and things, and interact, or they're like, oh, you look good today, or oh, you're slaying that dress. So I actually have met with people and we're friends now.
Social media has played a tremendous role in building communities around the world and help people find each other and feel less lonely in so many ways. It's helped people create communities of beauty bloggers and every facet of interest in the world, but oftentimes it means that we actually have less real life social connections because of these great communities. And so social media has actually been really influential in my life because I started using a lot of early social networking sites, and that was the precursor to social media. And so in doing so, I actually met so many people that were beyond my immediate reach and really expanded my personal horizons in doing so. But as the years went on, social networking sites became more and more oriented to media, which has been really fascinating to see, but has left a giant hole in the ability for people to connect.
I think the beauty of YouTube is just being able to have this relatability factor with your audience. I mean, they're coming to you to seek advice. And sure, that might have been the case, a couple years ago. People would watch interviews with actors and actresses and singers and pop stars and dancers and whatnot, but they're doing their own thing. And if you want to become an actor or a singer or an actress or whatever, maybe that's what you would watch. But if you're looking for somebody to figure out how they do their makeup on a daily basis, or what to wear when it gets cold outside, or where to go to eat when you're in Los Angeles, you're probably either going to go to a blog or a YouTuber. Not to mention, YouTube has become this incredible community. I mean, people are able to work together and collab and create content with one another. And be able to start these revolutions almost with how content is being made and how people are able to, just create fandoms with these influencers. It's something that's so different because even though there's fans when it comes to acting and actresses and singing and whatnot, they're not these diehard fans because they don't feel like they have this connectivity and this relatability factor. I mean, I mentioned it before, but when you're sitting in front of a computer and somebody is talking directly at you, you almost feel like they are sitting with you talking directly at you. And there's this thing where it's almost your best friend. I mean, I've had times of people come up to me and just be like, oh my gosh, you know, I love your videos, I love how you're able to talk to me, I feel like we're friends. Like, people have said that.
The Hypnotize community is incredible. It really started, I mean, I think that with the internet and social media, it's enabled the brand awareness of Hypnotize to grow. And we started this Facebook group page of customers, and they just have it's almost like a family. It's a little bit cult-like, where they come to this group, they share their different ways of wearing Hypnotize, they share different ideas, they empower one another. It's this amazing group of women from all over the world that just support one another. And not only Hypnotize in the garment and different ways of wearing it, but just in life. I mean, they celebrate birthdays with each other, and they've become friends.
And then I think because we have such a big platform, and because we talk to so many different people from all over the world, and we're so international in travel, like we were talking about before, we kind of lose touch of a home basis. And then that also plays a little bit of a role into who you see yourself as a person, because then eventually when you travel so much, you feel as though you lose a little part of your nationality, and then that kind of takes a toll on you as well.
A lot of an accountability, so I sort of feel like I owe my followers something. So not only does it make me, it gives me the courage that I need to continue going on, because so many people are watching me, and they're expecting these results, because once you start something, people expect it to be finished. So yeah, it just gives me this idea of like continuing to push through whatever I'm going through, because everything that I have done has not been an easy journey, but just knowing that my followers are there watching me, and you know, sometimes if I put something out there like, you know, it's been a rough week, my followers give me that encouragement. So not only am I encouraging them, the positive feedback that I receive from them helps fuel what I'm doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to meet people who follow me, and I don't know where I'm going to be seeing these people. So yeah, I've always got the idea when I go into public to kind of be ready to speak to anybody like I've met them before. Because I've realized when I do meet somebody, they've been watching me maybe on my YouTube channel or across Instagram or Facebook, and they've seen me sometimes give quite a personal, sort of a definition on something that I'm doing, or expressing something that's gone on with my family. And yeah, it's quite beautiful, the fact that people can see from afar and get quite a nice insight into my life. So I try to meet, when I meet everybody, I try to meet them as if I've met them before. You know, so I'm always very courteous. I always think, oh, this is someone I've met before perhaps. Maybe I saw them at a venue, maybe they saw me busking in the streets, perhaps they saw one of my videos. So one of the first things I'm like, oh, what's your name? Yeah, it's the first thing I go in for.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to just go to like shows like the NAMM show in California, which is a music trade show overall, and to actually get to meet people who watch your videos, or a lot of them are friends now too, so it's kind of nice to have that direct relationship with fans. And that's something I try to work at my YouTube channel. I don't email every single one of my followers or people who comments on a video, but I do like to try to help out people if they ask for advice, especially when it comes to just anything from purchasing a guitar and which different effect pedals should I get to sound like this guitar player, to, hey, I'm a songwriter, I'm just starting up, I really love your music, and I'd like to learn more about like how you got to where you are right now, and like what software to buy. And it kind of goes from like software and the gear stuff into like the process, and then into how you meet people and network in that way.
Authenticity rules. Advertising is going to be about authenticity. So if a brand sits there and runs a commercial with the housewife in front of the washing machine or the dryer or whatever, I mean, nobody's following that anymore. What people want to see is other regular people talking about whatever it is they're interested in. So I think advertising is going to gear towards that. I know there's a lot of talk, particularly about what we like to call the millennials, but I like to call it like millennials and the younger generation. And that's about creating marketing that's special for them. That's really what it's about.
Well, you have to go all the way back to the 50s. In the 50s, if a company wanted to lie or wanted to get information out, whether it was true or not, it was very easy. You issued a press release, it was covered, life went on. The 80s, even up to the late 90s, it was pretty easy to lie and say whatever you wanted. And then the sort of the democratization of news and democratization of content blew up. And what happened is that instead of being able to lie about something, it was pretty easy for anyone else to offer their own opinion, their counterpoint to whatever you were saying. And so the concept of being able to share something, whether it was true or not, no longer applied. You know, in 1983, a company called Union Carbide had a ridiculously bad disaster in Bhopal, India, where thousands were killed. And the first press release they issued said that a steam pipe ruptured and 2 workers were slightly injured. You know, and people bought it because no one knew how to get information from Bhopal otherwise. You couldn't even spell Bhopal. Today, I can watch on 5 different streams on my phone in real time as anything happens in the world. So the democratization of information and the ability for it to be free and shareable has radically changed how corporations, businesses, and the economy really transmits and shares that news of any sort.
It's like you said, Superman. I love a lot of superheroes, so I wouldn't be like kind of like stuck which is Superman. If someone said, "Hey, you want to be Captain America?" Sign me up, right? I mean, it's different. If you're talking about kind of like face products, if something is going to offer me a lot more money, but it's going to make me break out, why would I promote something like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if someone is giving me a deal like that, I'm pretty sure other brands are going to do the same thing. So it's just a timing process, and it's just almost networking with just different people and be like, you know what, I believe in your brand. If you believe in me, let's work together. It's almost, it has to be a team effort at the same time with companies.
How about brands that you've worked with? Have you ever been approached to work for a brand that maybe you thought, you know what, I don't agree with that, so I'm going to pass?
I'm just starting out in the industry, so I haven't had too much experience, but I would definitely say that I like being truthful to myself and then also to my viewers, because I feel like you kind of have, like you said before, a responsibility to be your most honest self. And I'm not too picky when it comes to clothing or shoes or stuff like that, but if I do get approached by a brand that has perhaps a negative connotativity to it, then I think I'd rather work with someone else.
Yeah, I definitely had experienced brands reaching me out that does not like really create an identity with my audience and my values. So for example, I would never work with a brand that do tests in animals. So if a beauty company who does tests in animals reach me out, I'd definitely not work with them, because it's just go against of my values, it's go against of what I'm talking with my audience. I always like talking about animals and how I love them, and always defends the animals on social media or whatever bad things they are doing with animals around the world. So it doesn't make sense. Suddenly I'm gonna work with a brand who does tests in animals tomorrow, It just totally breaks the trust that my audience has on me. So there's no worth it, even if it's a business, if there's a good money involved, there's no worth, because you lose the trust on your audience, and then you're not gonna work with any other brands anymore, because...
Yeah.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
It's definitely important, especially because I do a lot of hair tutorials. So people who don't know how to do their hair will come to my channel. And I have a lot of younger girls who are just starting to embrace their curls. Like a lot of girls who are coming from permed hair, straightened hair, and they need to learn how to have curls, how to take care of curls. So I want to give them the best advice as possible. So I make sure that I only recommend things that would be good for them.
So for me, the process of how I promote it is that I definitely want to make sure that whatever I'm showcasing to my audience directly reflects my lifestyle, what I'm about, something that I would wear, something that I would do, and something that, I can definitely say, if I put this out there, my audience will say, wow, I want to wear that too, or I want to look like that too. So whatever I decide to showcase on my Instagram and whatever I agree to sort of to brand, I have to make sure that I'm comfortable in it and it directly reflects, you know, what I'm about, everything that I'm about.
So just be confident and be true to yourself, really.
You know, in the early days of television and content marketing, it was totally dependent on two things, which was on-air broadcast inventory for promotion and going out and buying magazines, maybe a billboard. Today, marketing has so many more tools, and they're all digital tools. So marketing really means grabbing as many eyeballs as you can and changing their behavior to go and do something. And that's something in the case of television or media content distribution is watch my show, don't watch their show. So you need to change people's opinions. So where do the people who you want to get that are, say, 18 to 49 looking to be informed about that kind of programming? Well, they're looking from YouTube, and they're looking from Twitter, and they're looking from Facebook, and they're looking from Snapchat, and they're looking from Instagram. And in fact, each of those platforms is a platform that distributes content in and of themselves. So YouTube isn't just a place where user-generated content goes anymore. It's a place where you go to watch programs, whether they're programs made by individuals who do download it, or programs that are created by the networks or the TV stations, or just really great creators who are putting stuff out there that people want to go and watch. Now, you advertise on that stuff. You can market on that stuff. You can open up a video inside one of those or many of those platforms, and the very first thing you see is an ad. And sure, you may be able to click it after 3 seconds. Everyone that does those ads is going to learn how to do their entire message in the first 3 seconds. That'll be another thing you'll see. You advertise in it. So there's all those tools for marketing that are available now, and those are the big changes, I think, that the biggest changes in the industry.
Micro-influencer marketing is this new concept that was really an idea that we took to market back in 2015, and we were really one of the first to really get into micro-influencer marketing and actually trademark the term back in December 2015. And really what the idea was, it started off very organically. It was along the lines of my friend had an Instagram account. He had less than 10,000 followers. All of the platforms that were on technologies at the time in 2015, 2014, they would only accept you as an influencer or a creator if you had more than 10,000 followers. And so we looked around for these options to monetize these social followings, and we realized that no one would talk to us because we didn't have enough followers. And so what we actually ended up doing was just creating a piece of technology and a company ourselves, and really working to connect brands with individuals that had less than 10,000 followers on social, because at the time it seemed like an arbitrary number, but that's kind of where the platforms were accepting, that was like a qualifying criteria for the platforms. But long story short, we started connecting brands with individuals on social media that had smaller followings and allowing them to tap into much more intimate social networks that were allowing them to drive much more purchase intent and much more quality over quantity. And then what we actually do is we use technology to sort of organize these campaigns and scale them up in size, because the challenge with working with micro-influencers is you'd have to work with a lot of individuals on social media to do a campaign or promote a product or service. And to make a large impact, and that takes a lot of resources operationally. So a lot of correspondence back and forth with influencers and negotiations, and so this technology streamlined that process. Whereas macro influencer marketing was always working with creators that typically had over 10,000 or hundreds of thousands or in the millions of followers, and were typically a little bit more on the professional side of content creation. You might be working with a handful of those individuals, in which case that's where the industry started, from the spreadsheet model. So you'd be working on spreadsheets managing 10 to 25 influencers, whereas campaigns now are getting expanded because of this idea of working with the individual social media creator.
Technically speaking, it's just the ability to stream high quality, and I'm speaking like resolution, so we're even delivering 4K over the internet now. So just the technical delivery has evolved incredibly, but the most important thing is consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is forcing the TV content walls to come down, and more of that content is being delivered over the internet. And certainly the last 12 months have been a lot of excellent examples of that happening, like HBO, and now sports is sort of the new, the last foothold that the TV industry had, and that's now beginning to get streamed online, and that's really changing the models. It's forcing the TV industry to change their entire model.
So you're going to see a lot of very specific kind of advertising, like how do I benefit from the product? What's special about it for me? And influencers are really the best vehicle to do that because they're somebody people aspire to and they say, oh wow, they're using it and I want to use it. So I believe that influencers are going to pop up all over the place, small, medium, and large, and that's going to be really the future of advertising.
In this day and age, now that so much of content delivery is internet-based, it's all data-driven. So exact numbers are in place. So it took a while for advertisers to shift over because like anything else, they saw the internet, oh, you know, it's all the internet. Well, you know, that's for people who just want to play around. But then when they started seeing things like YouTubers delivering millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of viewers, and that data is precise. And the whole internet is driven by data. So emerged were these new agencies, digital advertising agencies, where basically they were able to take data, hard data that was real, and show it to potential advertisers and say, look, not only does this person or does this show or product reach X number of millions of people, but we know exactly who's looking at it and what they like and what they don't like and when they go shopping and when they sleep and when they wake up and such an exact science like that was highly attractive to advertisers. So over the years, we've watched a shift of advertising dollars in the billions of dollars get moved away from broadcast television over to the internet.
The reason I did social media was because I had been doing it for someone who had a digital magazine, and we realized the impact of using Facebook originally and how much we could get out there and how quickly. And she did a lot on Weekend Today in New York, and we realized that her impact was so much greater by using social media in conjunction with what she was doing. That's why I love a lot of the live social media. And then I realized, okay, not only is it for brands and businesses, but it's people as the influencer. So it's the person running the business, let's say if it's a business person, or the politician, or maybe it's the spokesperson for the brand. Those folks are actually the influencers. And we've seen this mostly in fashion, a lot in fashion. These people get paid. So Instagram is full of people that get paid as an influencer to tout a product or a service, and it says so. It'll say sponsored or whatever it is. They'll hashtag it or they'll put it in their write-up. And then I realized, well, it's not only just for fashion.
Well, there's a lot of energy put into getting to monetizing, and that's a big leap for a lot of performers, entertainers, and artists. And a big part of it these days is licensing deals, and that can be with any number of brands, companies. It can be anything from a t-shirt company to Urban Outfitters to an alcohol brand. And that's an important bar to reach for any entertainer. So they need to get traction, largely these days through social media, maybe through an agent, representative, manager. But once they have a significant amount of traction, the licensing possibilities expand greatly.
I work with different brands, mostly beauty brands, since I have mostly beauty content. And pretty much I'll get an email from them or they'll contact my manager, and then if it's a brand that I'm interested in and would work well with my channel, then I'll try out whatever product it is that they are trying to promote. And then if it's a good product and I use it for a while and I end up liking it, then I'll incorporate it into a video and just do my best to find really good products that would be beneficial to my audience and then be like a really good brand collaboration as well.
So social media is an extremely important part of my business. I've gotten a lot of bridal clients and musicians, artists from nationwide and worldwide. I've been getting a lot of bridal, and it's all through hashtags like New York City Bride, New York City Bridal, New York City Makeup Artist, and through Yelp and Google actually. So all the reviews that everyone leaves me, and I post my work pretty frequently. So they get to see my work, and it's in real time. They can see me and see my personality because I do Snapchat and Instagram stories. So all of that plays a huge part, and I've gotten a lot of free products, free services in exchange for social media shout-outs.
I actually get a lot of sponsors through social media. Self-Made, which is an all-natural protein and fuel detox company with all of these products. They actually send me a lot of their products just to help me get through my fitness days, just because it's a lot of work. It's yoga twice a day, then my trainer in the afternoon, and I need something to get through it. So a lot of fitness companies send me things, especially Self-Made. A lot of dress companies online that are selling exclusively online or through Facebook or through Etsy or wherever they sell nowadays, everywhere. They contact me to wear their dresses overseas. So social media has been a huge, huge outlet for me to get sponsors, and has been a huge, huge reason why I can go overseas and do these things, because I have so much help.
The traditional celebrity model is very low frequency and high touch. You're working with 1 or 2 celebrities, you're doing a brand ambassadorship, and you're able to really spend time in each relationship. And it makes sense. Working with a Kim Kardashian, for example, or Justin Bieber, you're really able to invest into all the moving parts. But what happened is, as the world really sort of opened up, as we had the advent of mobile and mobile social platforms, now everyone had the power to become an influencer. So we saw thousands and thousands of people rise to the top and become influencers, and no longer was the old way of engaging them working. You couldn't apply the same techniques or the same amount of effort or bandwidth into engaging a smaller influencer as you could a Justin Bieber or Kim Kardashian. So what we really did is we came up and solved for that and helped the industry really scale engaging with talent and this new emerging form of talent that's been coming about.
I've worked with a few brands over social media. As I've grown, that's when you up your rates, right? Because more people see it. And that's when you go into negotiating terms. I mean, I've worked with, like I said, Estee Lauder, Daniel Wellington, Stance. I'm doing other deals that I can't actually mention yet, but it's stuff in the process as I've been growing, right? And it's just like, the more you're growing as a brand, the more you're making money off it. It's incredible. I never thought I'd make money off a post, right? It's just, I remember when I had 100 followers and I was just posting my dog. And now it's like, everything I post, it's just, if it's up there longer than 30 minutes, it's there, like, there's no going back. So I always try to make sure all of the quality of like the pictures that I take, it's got to be perfect, especially if I'm working with these brands. It's like they're expecting a high level of content, and they're paying me for it, and it's got to be, it's not just about a picture anymore. It's about selling the brand. It's about being part of the brand and building that relationship with them one-on-one too.
I mean, I've been experienced to work with Calvin Klein, Tom Ford Beauty, Boohoo, that's a big brand in London. And when I work with brands, I like to take care if it's part of my lifestyle, so that is something that I have an identity with, and I like to work for long term with brands. So I don't really like to do just one sponsor post, because I like to show my audience that this brand is something that I really use, that's part of my lifestyle. If it's a beauty, if it's like skin creams, my audience has to see that I'm wearing this every day. So that's how I like to work with brands, with like a long-term relationship, so they will be like part of my lifestyle and not just one post, even if they're not gonna pay me to be like, using this every day, posting every day, I always make sure that's part of my lifestyle, that's something that I really like and something that I really will share with my audience.
Quality and content and taking the correct picture with the correct lighting and then the editing is definitely a lot of work on top of that as well. And it's also very important that when you go to post it and you present this, you have to make sure, like you said, everything is perfect. And then the audiences also have to respond to it, hopefully in a positive way. And I am also so grateful that I've only had good experiences so far with brands and stuff like that. And I also really like to keep it long term so that it's not just one split second and then you don't see it ever again. I like to incorporate it and make it something that my audience can connect to and view and see that it's something that I truly do like.
Advertising is changing, programming's changing, everything is changing. The one thing you need to know, it will change. And so a lot of times you go out and start bleeding on the very edge in terms of making it happen. What we're starting to see more now is programmatic advertising, where more and more people are programming their advertising based on the audiences they want to reach. And so it's all become digital. You used to do it based on time blocks, but people don't watch television by time. When was the last time that you rushed home to watch a primetime show? You don't. You sit and you watch The Crown or Downton Abbey, and you do it all in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, and you binge watch that. Well, if you're binge watching that, it's tough to buy time blocks. And so what you have to do is buy audiences, and the best way to buy audiences is through a digital play.
One of the early things we noticed is influencer marketing wasn't really itemized. A lot of advertisers had no idea how to treat it. They didn't know what budgets to pull from, they didn't know what KPIs to look at. So early on, we worked with advertisers to help develop this. And as influencer marketing became more of a line item, of course that means budgets are increasing, advertisers are dedicating spend to it, but we also saw sort of solidifying of where those budgets would come from, whether they're PR or digital budgets, and we saw also that started to differ based on the client and the industry.
I think we're at a very interesting place right now, especially with influencers. It kind of started with a model that was kind of similar to everyone, which was a single person or a couple of people in front of a camera sort of addressing the audience directly. And, you know, fast forward, thus became the world of YouTube stars.
So one of the biggest changes in digital advertising over the past few years is how brands have moved away from traditional advertising creation. So instead of spending, and you watch the Super Bowl, there's still a lot of ads that are done very much planned a year in advance. Produced, you know, at $5–10 million. They run the commercials early. That's still the dominant form of advertising. But many big brands, and Red Bull's a great example, right? Red Bull's advertising has become the events that they not only sponsor, but the events that people do with their product or in the name of their product. Whether it's skiing, whether it's jumping from planes, whatever it may be, people are creating content that brands are picking up and using as part of their advertising campaigns in a way that never happened before. And that will continue to change because people are looking for more authentic experiences. They're looking for things that are a little bit out of there, you know, things that are a little different than Matthew McConaughey dropping into the swimming pool and getting paid millions of dollars. They can do this on a much cheaper basis and a more authentic basis by finding people who represent their brand in different ways and can bring that into market. And the creator makes money too, because they'll get paid, whether through recognition or through dollars or both. And so they benefit as well, and it just gives the brand an opportunity to do something that's a little bit more original and a little bit more creative.
We started Crane after have experience as employees in other agencies we've been working before. That feeling that considering all the technology available, it was kind of useless to keep servicing clients based on a very empirical, old-fashioned way approach. Especially in Brazil, where agencies are also responsible for negotiating and buying media, the industry gets somehow addicted and kidnapped by the media owners' rebates, where in order to get finance benefits, that agencies used to not really recommend what would be the best solution to its clients. So Crane has born with its own mantra that we carry on till nowadays, which is prove them wrong. This mantra that we have in our walls and everything goes into two main directions. The first one is that data is there to be collected, digested, and transformed into insights to drive communication. It's the I know replacing the I think way of working communication. Second, when you really participate into your client's business and you are truly committed on building value to their product, service, or branding, you become kind of a market extension to your client, and you naturally occupy a very valuable position. Our industry main struggle is how to re-add the value we supposed to add into this equation. So doing this kind of approach, getting together with our clients, discussing and being part of their business, pushes aside of this kind of a media rebates game. So put us on game again to be the best partners possible for our clients.
Mobile advertising is so annoying for most people. It's just like very annoying, but yet it's very much the place that everyone's going. That's pretty much been the trend for the last 5 years. We've seen that, we know that. The millennial generation is pushing all that innovation. But in addition to that, it's like that's where the eyeballs are. So when I was a kid growing up, everything was on TV, so you were like really excited about looking at the ads on TV. Well, there's not that many people that really spend a lot of time watching TV unless it's an event. For example, the Super Bowl or something, you know, in terms of sports. But really, everything's on mobile.
At the beginning, the internet, there were advertisements. There was advertisement ever since the beginning. There was a new medium, and it was great to make money with ads. But at the beginning, were just display ads. They were just the usual banners that you can see around the city with Coca-Cola or something else. And at a certain point, someone, in which actually a little company in LA, had the brilliant idea of observing that if a user behaves in a certain way, like for example, typing a query in a search engine, the user is giving away a piece of information that you can leverage to actually deliver personalized, customized advertisement. The beauty of that is monetize much better, because people tend to click on ads when they are in the context of what they are after at that time. If they are trying to buy shoes, they are searching for shoes and the advertisement is about shoes, they're going to click on it. So the conversion rate, which is basically how we measure how much an advertisement is actually working, they went over the roof. And a tech company like Google, which at the beginning was not really clear what would have been their business model. At the beginning, they thought that they were selling an appliance. It was actually a physical object that they were selling to companies to index their data to make it searchable. So that was the original business model of Google, which turned out not to be really how they made the money. The money came from search.
There will always be broadcasts. There will always be, digital will just become, I think personally, digital will become the #1 space when you want to get your message across. But there will always be a place for broadcast, just like there will always be a place for radio.
Hey guys, I'm Ginger, and I'm excited to give you an insight into my life. I moved to NYC about 3.5 years ago, mostly for a change of pace. Got to a point where I needed to focus more on my career. My day-to-day is a lot of emails, shipping out product, errands, subways, Uber. Pretty typical New York, I would say.
Social media is just going to be endless forever. I mean, there's just new platforms being created every single day. First it was MySpace, right? And I still remember, like, back in the day, I was like, why am I not on your top 8 friends? Like, am I not your friend anymore? It was just like simple stuff like that, you know? It just changed everything. And then Facebook came out, and then Facebook, you know, bought Instagram, and it just became this whole just like mega platform, and they have Snapchat now. I mean, obviously there's Twitter, which I need to be working on more, but there's so much reach, and it's like exciting to see where it's gonna come to next. It's just, I mean, applications in general are changing every single day. I mean, people can, you know, sing from their home. People have their own studio. People are, I mean, even the new iPhone that came out, it's like the camera quality. It's just like, why buy a camera when you can take it on your phone? It's just, it's changed so much.
A lot of what I'm doing now with interacting with people all over the world and creating unity, I think that's a huge, huge part of it, is using social media as kind of a channel to show agents of change, to show what's going on and how countries are helping each other. I mean, a lot of it now is just people talking and people getting to know each other and people being connected all over the world, which is great, but I think it has the potential to really influence people, not just connect people. So I think that in the route of really showing the bright and the wonderful things that are going on in each country, instead of just the videos of people throwing rabbits down the stairs, which is not okay. Like, there's too many negative things, and I think that if there were just positive things and an influx of influences from all over the world that are positive, we could make a huge difference in the way that we view the world. Everybody does.
Where do I think things are heading? We're in the greatest era in history for exponential growth and technologies that connect us to each other 24/7, no matter where we are on the planet. That level of connectivity and access gives anyone the opportunity to have a voice at scale.
Is happening something similar that happened on TV years ago, it's getting more and more and more and more and more annoying. Advertisement at this point is using any way possible to get on you. It can be an autoplay video that starts in the middle of the page. It can be a pop-up, a banner, anything. And the content gets submerged by the tons of advertisement there. Plus the content is shrinking. There's another kind of interesting trend to observe that people tend not to read what are called the long forms, like the long articles that once they were appearing on the New Yorker, for example. Now the span attention is shortened and people read very short content. And the content is mixed up with native ads, which is advertisement that looks like content. And you end up with these pages which are like tons of information with almost no content.
I think it's going to have a lot more influencer marketing in conjunction with regular social media, and meaning that people will be paid to look at a product, look at a service, and determine for themselves, not be paid to endorse it, but determine for themselves what they think of it. You're not going to pay someone to say, yes, this is a great product if it's not a great product, because you're going to know. People are not stupid on social media. People are very interested in authenticity and reality, and they know when you're screaming baloney, and they know when you're being authentic and real. And stars used to get paid for these things all the time, and in movies you constantly see endorsements of products. In Wayne's World, the movie a while ago, they showed that, and it was a joke. They made a joke out of it. But now it's actually for real.
Continue to do what it is that you love, and you will find your audience. I think that's the biggest thing. Is it took us a little while to grow our account, but we stayed true to what it is that we love about our cats and what we wanted to see with them.
From now on, I believe that the only no controllable metric will be love.
I always try to leave a space nicer than when I first arrived. I think we need to stop looking at it as social media and just understand that everyone can communicate. Everyone has the ability to communicate. The democratization of media has happened. It's here already. If you have a computer, if you have a Twitter account, if you have a Facebook account, if you have a phone, if you have a device, you can share. As the Internet of Things grows and as your devices can share, it's going to be a really crowded world there. So the goal at the end of the day for anyone, whether they're running a business or just a personal account, make sure that you're sharing quality content. Don't worry about making things viral. Worry about making things good.
But we believe that there's going to be more companies doing good than not. And we want to help those companies take over the world.
Yeah, just be nice and the universe will pay it back to you.